So, hey guys, Joe Garth here, creator of Brushify.io. In this video, I've got a few announcements to make, and a few things to kind of go over. This video is essentially going to be a story video. Not really a tutorial like I usually do, but this is more of a kind of channel video. So I just wanted to explain a bit, my story, where I came from, what got me here, what got me to this point where I'm building Brushify and creating these sort of packs and stuff for Unreal Engine 4. I'm going to tell you how I got to this point and why I think that it was a kind of important journey for me. So basically, I started out in the games industry in about 2000, maybe 2006 or 2007. Anyway, I was a teenager. I was about 14 to 16 years old, something like that. And really, I was just playing around. I was just having fun. I downloaded the CryEngine with, I didn't even download it. I used the physical, I had the physical CD back then, a copy of Far Cry, and don't have it anymore, unfortunately. But on the box was written, what you see is what you play, level editor. And it was like this incredible idea that I'd used level editors before, but it was this incredible thing where you could build the level in the game. You could build a level, and then you could hit one button, and then you would be playing it in the game. It was an incredible thing, and that was really the first time when my eyes were open to the possibilities of what you see is what you play. Being able to control an editor, a 3D application essentially, with the same controls that you'd use to navigate around in a first-person shooter. And nowadays everyone takes that for granted because Unreal Engine they have all of those features now, and all game engines do: Unity, Unreal, everyone, and Lumberyard. And but back then it was absolutely a revelation for me, and it got me into game engines. It got me into 3D graphics. So I started modding Far Cry. I didn't really produce anything, moved on to Crysis, and then I got in with some really interesting people that, modding teams that were, super ambitious and really wanted to build real, almost products, they were really like driven, and the artwork they were producing was amazing. And based on some of the work that I did for those modding teams, I was lucky enough to be given an internship at Crytek. And at Crytek, I kind of worked there for about 9 years. So I'm 28 now, and I first joined the industry when I was just 18. So it was just an enormous amount of time, that I spent learning and developing my 3D skills and graphic skills at Crytek. And I was just surrounded by this team of people that were just so talented. You're talking to like the guy that modeled the nanosuit, and you're like, your mind is being blown because it's just so, the amount of information that someone like that knows is incredible. When you think about something like Blender or Max or Maya, and you think about how complicated those applications are, and it's like, this is a person that has managed to take one of those applications and fully understand it. They're not looking up tutorials every 5 minutes. It's like they're absolutely nailing it and really understanding it through and through. And it's because they've been through all this journey. They've been through all the tutorials. They've been through all the different ways of doing things. And got to this point where it's just like, they're basically just really, really good. I managed to get into the industry that way through an internship based off of the work that I've been posting onto the Cry modding forums. It was a Cry mod forum. That was the name of the website. Doesn't exist anymore, sadly, but like a lot of websites. So I managed to get into the industry that way, and it was a great way to get started. And I'm super thankful for everyone at Crytek. It was just an incredible team of people, incredible company, and super innovative engine and products. And it gave me the great industry, a great head start in the industry, really. And so when I was about 25, I had these ideas about going independent, about building product or building a business of my own, and seeing how it could work. And I had a lot of different ideas, but I never really settled on one. But in the end, when I was about, I think I was 27 already, I had basically decided, like, I'm going to quit my job, and I'm just going to go cold turkey, quit my job, and try and pick up some freelance contracts. And so I managed to get onto a game team that were building an MMO for Unreal Engine 4 called Outlaws of the Old West. And this was a super challenging project because what they wanted to do was essentially build, they wanted to build 600 square kilometers of playable terrain in Unreal Engine. When they first told me that, I was like, sure you need 600? You don't need like 50 or 25 or 64, something like more reasonable. But they were very adamant they wanted some massive playable areas. And, so set about basically trying to build an infrastructure for that. And, it took the better part of a year to get to this point where we had an infrastructure in place. And we'd basically been doing the thing that I think a lot of you guys are doing, which is just, downloading a pack from Unreal Marketplace and then, trying to manipulate that and change it around and fit it into your project. But I was always hitting, the problems with these marketplace products. There's always something that would make it a little bit tricky, to integrate. It would always make it a bit harder, to work with. And it's usually because they were filled with lots of complicated features that weren't necessarily needed. There were features that if we needed features, we could add them ourselves. We could basically get our programmers to add those features, or we could build them in ourselves and, spend a few weeks on it. But the problem was that it was just so hard to kind of untangle the spaghetti of all of these some of these marketplace products that it was almost not worth doing. So, so when I was building, when I'd kind of got an overview of the problems and the issues that were happening with that project, it led me in the direction to build Brushify the way it is now, which is it's a landscape infrastructure, it's an environment infrastructure, but it's kept simple enough that there aren't too many features in there that are going to bog things down. You have the option to add features if you want them, but by default, most of those features aren't in there. And that's because, some people don't need, things like tessellation and, lots of and roughness maps. And, they don't need all that kind of stuff. They're perfectly happy to have, albedo driving roughness and all those kind of things. Don't want to get too technical. But, so basically Outlaws was a really great way to learn about the engine and about Unreal and identify sort of a niche market, which was something that I was really, always kind of on the lookout for as a freelancer as well. And and so the next project that I worked on was with Quixel, which was with their short film Rebirth, which was just a hugely rewarding project because the team there have such a high level of quality and such a high quality bar, and they pushed me to my limits. They were pushing me to my limits and to the limits of what Unreal Engine is capable of. And I was, I learned so much just because I was constantly having to, to strive for this level of photorealism that, honestly, I've never seen anything like that before. And it was, it was just like, there was only one, only one really, only one way to do that, which was to just simply, keep pushing for the tiny details and, keep reworking and redoing parts of the scenes, in order to get them as photoreal as possible. So, yeah, that project was hugely rewarding. The team over at Quixel are absolutely phenomenal. Brilliant artists, great eye for details, a brilliant group of people, are just super easy to work with. And absolutely, I'm a super fan of Quixel and I absolutely love their work. And and so both those kind of projects, both those projects gave me, I think, a bit of a head start with Unreal Engine and sort of taught me and made me understand, how Unreal Engine works and how it, help me kind of identify niches in the market and what could be improved. And so that brings me to pretty much where I am at today, which is that I have Brushify now up on the Unreal Engine Marketplace. And, I've got all of these different products, and, I recently released a revision 2 update for all of my products to kind of bring them up to a higher level of quality. And, I'm sort of planning, to keep raising that quality bar as I go into the future. And one of the things that's really going to help me with that is that I was applying, or I did apply in the past for Unreal Megagrant. And I was very lucky enough to be accepted in the Unreal Megagrants program. So yeah, big announcement. I have a Megagrant. So that's really cool. And Epic Games, I mean, I just can't say enough good things about this company. They are such a great collaborative, a collaborative force in the industry that, they're helping people. They just gave, I think, 1.2 million to Blender, which is an absolutely amazing thing. And the way that they're supporting smaller developers like me as well, it's just incredible. And the amount of support they've given to me on the Unreal Marketplace, putting out my free product and things like that go, promotions that go out to the whole of the Unreal Engine fan base. It's absolutely amazing for me as an artist to see so many people enjoying my work. And from a business perspective, it's also amazing. So hands down to Epic, they've done an incredible job supporting me. So absolutely, thank you guys. And and the other big announcement is about this YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel's now at about 5,000 subscribers, which is, for the first time ever, it really feels like I have a big YouTube channel now. It's it's not huge, it's not massive, but it is at least somewhere to start and to kind of grow a platform from. And every time I add a video, it's at least a few hundred more of you guys hitting subscribe and liking, commenting, all that stuff. So huge thanks to everybody that subscribed to this channel. Huge thanks to everybody that's bought a Brushify pack, and especially and to everyone on Patreon as well who's supporting me on there, because without you guys, none of this would be possible. And it's absolutely amazing. And so with the Megagrant and with the platform now, it gives me more room to grow in the future. With the Megagrant, I'm going to be able to take care of some of the overheads that I have, equipment costs, keeping the lights on basically, and improving the current content that I have. And it gives me more time really just to create and just to make things much better. So that's absolutely amazing. And trying to think if there's anything else, but so if you guys like these kind of videos, let me know, because I've never really done one like this before, where it's just kind of like a long, talking video about my kind of journey and where I come from, that kind of stuff. Maybe you find it interesting, maybe you don't. But either way, if you want to see more content like this, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Ciao.